What made you decide to write about the disaster of 2008?
Well, I was working as a lawyer during the fall of 2008 as a bankruptcy attorney, and it just seemed like a really interesting time to be living in New York. It was a very traumatic time to be living in New York and working on Wall Street. There was a lot of phenomenal nonfiction being written in fairly short order about that period, but I didn't see any fiction being written, and I thought it was sort of an interesting time to think about and write about. So I started writing it just purely for fun while I was working. And
Good.
It snowballed into something larger.
And all of a sudden, somebody wanted to publish it.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
Congratulations. Congratulations. One of the most interesting things about this book, in my opinion, is the way it starts. Not many novels start with an introduction, but yours does, and I'd like you to read a little bit of it, please.
Sure. He hated miscalculations. There had been a lot recently, which was, of course, how he had ended up parked at the base of the Tappan Zee Bridge at 2 a.m. on a Wednesday. Not exactly Plan A. His mind whirred as he parked the car and switched off the headlights. The engine fell silent, and all he could hear was the white noise of cars crossing the bridge and the rush of his own blood roaring in his ears. He sat still for a minute, staring blindly at the bridge. It looked different than it had last week. In the daylight, it looked like a steel cage suspended over the river, more like a carnival ride, a roller coaster with two peaks. The top beams were lit up, and the reflection danced across the black water below. It was beautiful. This was harder than he had thought it would be, maybe impossibly hard. He knew he had to stop thinking and just move, but his heart was pumping so hard that he felt faint, almost as if he was having an epileptic seizure. He reached for the bottle of Dilantin that he kept in the glove compartment. He had bottles stashed in every car, just in case. His hands shook as he twisted off the cap, and the bottle slipped out of his hands. He scooped up the pills from the passenger seat. There were only 2 left, and he put them in his pocket. You know this bridge, he told himself. It's 3 miles long and 7 lanes wide, and there are 4 phones, 2 on each side. The storm was churning up the river. He couldn't see it in the dark, but he imagined it now, the cold, tufted rush of black water slipping endlessly beneath the belly of the bridge. Already there were sustained winds of up to 40 miles an hour, with gusts of up to 60 miles an hour, so the current was moving faster than normal. If someone were to jump, his body would be pulled down, under, into the river, swallowed whole. They might not even find the body, just a heart-deadening splash, and gone. In the past 10 years, there have been more than 25 suicides from this bridge. They put in the phones to connect callers to a suicide prevention hotline. The weather is optimal. This has to be done now. Running through statistics and scenarios, especially the outside or unlikely ones, the ones that others might discount to 0, usually calmed him. His breath slowed a little, enough so that he could get out of the car. His shoe hit a patch of loose dirt, causing him to slip slightly. He stopped and wiped a bead of sweat from his temple. He couldn't see the phones in the darkness, but he knew it was there, just yards away. For the millionth time, he reminded himself this wasn't just the best exit strategy, it was the only exit strategy. He had done the math, run the numbers, analyzed the risk. This was it, the only way out.
What a way to begin a novel. What a way.
It's a dramatic beginning.
Did you always begin it that way, or was this after
No.
several revisions?
No, the book takes place over a very short timetable.
Yes, it does. A little less than a week, a little more than
5 days about.
5 days, yeah.
And I liked the idea of staying within that time frame. It was sort of fun to watch things devolve very quickly. But then after back and forth with the editor, we attached this introduction and an epilogue, which take place outside the 5-day time frame to give a little bit of context to the story.
Yeah, and the chapters are not numbered. They are labeled a day of the week and time of that particular day.
Yeah, it all happened so quickly. I thought it was sort of best to keep things time-stamped, so you kind of, especially since there are a few different storylines that are taking place over that time period.
Quite a few.
So hopefully it helps sort of orient you to have a timestamp.